How to deal with analysis paralysis, where you can't seem to make a decision between two options and become stuck in overthinking and inaction. It's all about firstly realizing what you're experiencing is a conflict between your intuition and fear. Because your gut knows what you got to do, but it's the fear that's making you overthink and second guess yourself. Right? So what we got to firstly awaken to is, what's the question you're asking yourself when it comes to decision making? If I think about what's the one habit that's changed my life, it's this habit of constantly asking myself, is my choice right now fear-based or is it growth-based? Because growth is aligned in intuition. Because if I look back on my life, what's my biggest regrets? Is fear-based choices, fear-based decisions. They seem sexy, they seem logical, right? It literally felt like I had no time for it. It literally felt like I had no money for it. But in reality, it's all fear. It was just fear. It was just fear, right? Fear was taking control of my life. So get into the habit. Ask yourself, is this fear-based choice or is it heart-based choice? Right? Or you can maybe vocalize it a little bit more. Ask yourself, what would fear do in this moment? What would fear do? What would heart do in this moment? What would love do? What would my intuition do? See where you are. And you'll notice there's a clear distinguishment to be made here. So how do you know you're making a heart-based choice? Well, firstly, if we got fear on this side and we got heart on this side, fear choices always kind of feel like you're constricting yourself, making yourself smaller. You know you're holding yourself back, and that's why you feel that way. How many know what I'm talking about? So for example, my teacher back in my middle school, my nickname was Timid. He would always say to my parents, right? Tim should always put his hands up in class, always do this, always speak up loud. Tim's the sort of, child that nobody knows exists, so silent. So every time I tried to put my hands up, I followed fear. I didn't put my hands up. What do I feel in that moment as I'm constricting myself? Is literal constriction. I'm like, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. You know what I'm talking about? Constriction. Whereas heart, right? That feels expansive. It feels expansive. You know, if you was to go for that, it leads to a sense of expansion feeling that you're growing. You're growing. Now, another fear-based rooted sign is it leads to safety and comfort, right? Your mind is rooted in comfort. So fear is always going to be guiding you towards a place you've always been, right? Whereas heart, it leads to growth and adventure. Now, this is a very important distinction to make. Knowing that your mind is designed for survival, is not designed to help you to be successful or happy, is there a slight chance that your mind will favor fear-based choices over heart-based choices? Do you think that's slightly a chance? Yes. This is when we get trapped. We follow fear because it feels right. It feels right. Understand, anytime you say something feels right, another word for right is it feels familiar. So if it's always been familiar for you to hold yourself back, never go for what you want, never invest in yourself, never strive for more, never go for more than you believe you deserve, then it's always going to be right for you to make fear-based choices. And you'd be wondering why your life never changes, is because you aren't changing these choices you're making. Is everyone following so far? So in life, don't do what's right. Do what helps you to grow. Do what makes you great. Making that distinguishment allows you to just clearly see, what is my heart saying? What is my fear saying? And eventually you can take a step forwards. But realize this, in a state of indecision, the worst decision you can ever make is not deciding. And that's still a decision. And that's the worst decision, right? Worse than fear. Because if you don't decide, you can never know, you can never move forwards, and you're just stuck. At least when you make a decision rooted in fear, you will know what wrong decisions are like, which makes you make better decisions, right? But if you don't make a decision, you'll never know, you'll never grow, you're just stuck in prison. So in life, you've got a decision to make. You can either take a step forwards and risk you might possibly fail or succeed, or not take a step forwards and thereby guarantee you will fail.